The retirement escape. Why American boomers are fleeing to the country they were taught to fear. This isn't about socialism. It's not about Bernie Sanders memes or some romanticized Scandinavian fantasy. This is about Linda, age 68, from Phoenix, Arizona. A retired elementary school teacher who spent 40 years in the classroom. She did everything right. Saved in her 401k. Paid off her mortgage. Stayed healthy. And then her husband got cancer. Within 18 months, her retirement savings were cut in half. Not because she lived recklessly. Because the American healthcare system charged her $11,000 per month for his treatment. Even with Medicare. When he died, Linda did the math. She had maybe 8 years left before her money ran out. Then what? Move in with her kids? Apply for Medicaid? Die quietly? So she made a choice that would have seemed insane to her parents' generation. She moved to Norway. And for the first time in 3 years, she slept through the night. If stories like this matter to you, real people, real numbers, no BS, hit that subscribe button. We're breaking down the systems that actually shape your life, not the ones politicians want you to argue about. Stick around. Meet Linda, the human face of retirement math. Linda Kowalski taught second grade in Phoenix for 42 years. Her pension? $2,400 a month. Her Social Security? Another $1,800. Total, $4,200. In Arizona, her budget looked like this. Rent for a 1-bedroom apartment, $1,500. Medicare premiums and supplemental insurance, $600. Medications for her diabetes and blood pressure, $350. Utilities, food, gas, $1,200. What's left? $550 a month. For everything else. 1 dental emergency. 1 car breakdown. 1 unexpected bill. And she's underwater. She couldn't afford to retire in the country where she'd paid taxes for 4 decades. Then a friend from college, an expat living in Bergen, suggested something radical. Move abroad. Not to some tropical beach. To Norway. I thought she was crazy, Linda told me over Zoom. Norway? That's where everything costs $20 for a hamburger. Right. Wrong. Here's Linda's budget now, living in a small coastal town called Hagesund. Rent for a 2-bedroom apartment with a fjord view, $950. Healthcare costs, $0. Covered under Norway's reciprocal agreement for retirees with legal residency. Medications, $0 after hitting an annual cap of roughly $250. Utilities, food, transportation, $1,100. What's left? $2,150 a month. She joined a knitting club. She volunteers at a local library teaching English. She takes the train to Oslo for free because seniors ride public transit at no cost. I'm not rich here, she said. But I'm not scared anymore. That's the difference. Not luxury. Safety. The exodus you haven't heard about. Linda isn't alone. Between 2015 and 2023, the number of American retirees living in Norway increased by 340%. That's not a typo. 340%. And it's not just Norway. Portugal, Spain, and Italy have all launched retirement visa programs targeting Americans. But Norway is different. It's not about cheap wine and sunshine. It's about the architecture of security. Here's the macro picture. The median retirement savings for Americans aged 65 to 74 is $200,000. Sounds decent, right? But according to Fidelity, the average couple will need $315,000 just to cover health care costs in retirement. That's just health care, not housing, not food, not the occasional trip to see grandkids. Now, compare that to Norway. Out-of-pocket healthcare spending for retirees in Norway averages $380 per year. The U.S. average? $6,500 per year. That's a 17x difference. But it's not just healthcare. It's the entire social infrastructure. In Norway, if you're a legal resident over 67, you receive a base pension from the government even if you never worked a single day in Norway. It's roughly $1,600 a month. It's not wealth. It's a floor. Add that to a U.S. Social Security check, and suddenly a modest American retirement becomes a comfortable Norwegian one. Here's what broke my brain. Norway ranks #1 in the world for quality of life for seniors, according to the Global Age Watch Index. The U.S.? Number 28. Behind Estonia. The country that spent the 20th century lecturing the world about freedom and prosperity now exports its elders because they can't afford to stay. The catch. Why this isn't a fairy tale. Let's be honest. Norway isn't Disneyland for retirees. First, the weather. If you hate gray skies and 4 p.m. sunsets in winter, you will be miserable. Seasonal affective disorder is real. Some American expats last one winter and bail. Second, the bureaucracy. Getting legal residency isn't impossible, but it's not easy. You need to prove financial self-sufficiency. You need to navigate Norway's UDI immigration system, which is in Norwegian. If you don't speak the language, you're hiring a lawyer. Budget $3,000 to $5,000 just to get your paperwork right. Third, the loneliness. Linda's knitting club? It took her 8 months to find it. Most Norwegians are polite but reserved. You're not going to make best friends at the grocery store. Expat communities exist, but they're small. If you need constant social stimulation, you'll struggle. Fourth, you can't work. Norway's retirement visa doesn't allow employment. So if you get bored, you can't just pick up a part-time gig. You're done. This is it. And fifth, this is the big one. You're leaving your family. Linda hasn't seen her grandkids in person in 9 months. She FaceTimes them twice a week. She sends birthday cards with Norwegian chocolates. But she missed her grandson's soccer championship. She missed Thanksgiving. That's the price, she told me. I traded proximity for survival. Not everyone can stomach that trade. The real question, what are we optimizing for? Here's what this story is really about. It's not about whether Norway is better than America. It's about what we've decided a society owes its elders. In Norway, the answer is a dignified baseline. You won't be rich, but you won't be choosing between medication and groceries. You won't die bankrupt because you got sick. In America, the answer is you're on your own. Save enough. Invest wisely. Don't get unlucky. And if you do get unlucky, well, maybe your kids will help. Or maybe you'll work until you're 80. Or maybe you'll just disappear quietly. The Norwegian model isn't free. It's expensive. Norwegians pay an effective tax rate of 38% to 45%. Americans scream about a 5% increase in capital gains taxes. But here's the trade-off. In Norway, you pay more when you're young and healthy. And you're protected when you're old and fragile. In America, you pay less up front. And you gamble that you won't be the one who gets cancer or gets widowed or outlives your savings. Neither system is perfect. One is a bet on collective security. The other is a bet on personal luck. Linda made her choice. Thousands of other American boomers are making the same calculation right now. Spreadsheet by spreadsheet. Retirement account by retirement account. They're realizing that the nanny state they were taught to mock might actually let them retire with dignity, while the land of the free might just let them die broke. And if this video made you think differently about retirement, about systems, about what security actually costs, do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. It tells YouTube to show this to people who actually need to see it. So here's my question for you. If you knew you'd live to 85 and your savings would run out at 80, what would you trade to buy 5 more years of security? Your proximity to family? Your national identity? The weather? Would you stay? Or would you leave? Drop your answer below. Because this isn't hypothetical. For a growing number of Americans, it's a decision they're making right now.